The C7 chord offers us a lot of opportunity. The open C7 chord, again, is the C chord, right, with the 2 and the 3 and the 1 down here on the C. But we add in the little finger, the 4th finger, we tuck it right in there on the 3rd string, and we make a little triangle with the 3, 2, and 4, and then we have the C7. So basically C7, if you think about it, if we bring this down 1 fret, you actually have parts of the B7 that we learned in our original 10 lesson series, right? So you can see how the B7, by coming out 1 fret, turns into the C7, and now because we have an extra fret here, we have to deal with that, right? So we have to use that 1st finger there. Now the C7 can actually use all the strings because all of the notes are in the C7 chord. However, what I want to talk about here is the movability of the C7. So the C7 can be moved up 2 frets to be a D7. Of course, now what we have to worry about is the 2 outside E strings, right? Because D7 does not include E. So if you strum that, it's not going to sound so great. But if you take advantage of the 4-finger method, right? Thumb, 1, 2, 3, and play the inside strings, the inside 4 strings, you can actually get a nice D7 there. And now by just using those 4 fingers and the inside 4 strings, you can play all of the 7 chords just by moving up the fret. And this actually proves to be pretty useful. Now let's add one more thing to this. Again, using this up the fret technique, basically, if you remember back to the bar chords that we learned, the bar chord A series would be your guide here. Okay, remember A series 3rd fret is a C chord, right? Well, in this case, the C7, which ends on the 3rd fret, right, is the C. So wherever you bring this finger, that's going to be the 7 chord. So 3rd fret is C, 7. 5th fret is D, right, 7. You go up to the, well, let's try to fool you here. Let's go up to the 9th fret. What's that going to be? Okay, well, we can figure that out, right? We've got C, D, E, F sharp. Okay, so now we've got F sharp 7 at the 9th fret. And you follow that through just like you do with the bar chords. So anyways, now let's take and combine this with a simple little Travis picking technique, okay? Now when you say the term Travis picking, of course you're going back to Merle Travis, who gets credit for this picking, though I'm sure he didn't actually ever ask for that credit, because actually if you read about and watch Merle Travis play on some old videos, you'll see that he was basically a 2-finger picker. And so the story goes, Chad Atkins heard him on the radio, and he immediately went into the thumb 3-finger method to reproduce what Merle Travis had done. And then, of course, we get into the 60s and over in England, and people like Donovan are playing this kind of finger style, and of course Bob Dylan and Paul Simon and people like that are playing this finger style, and everybody says, hey, that's Travis picking. Okay, but let's also not forget about the early creators, the old Mississippi Delta bluesmen who created a way of playing guitar that would emulate the piano. Okay, so all of this Travis picking, basically, you can step back a few generations before and discover people like Blind Blake, Blind Lemon Jefferson, and some of those great players, Mississippi John Hurt. Those guys were actually playing some pretty cool stuff. And that actually probably lends itself more to this concept of Travis picking than anything. We must not forget about the classics. So anyways, let's get back to our lesson. So we take the C7, and I'm going to just show you some tablature here, and we're going to follow this, and the thumb's going to go and rotate on the 5th fret 3, then the 2 on the 4th, then the 6 and the 4. So we're going to rotate the thumb, okay? And then with the treble, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to play a couple of melody notes. You notice how that 7th just lingers over. Okay, so really all we're doing is 2nd string, 1st fret, C, and 3rd finger, playing that B flat, right, on the 3rd string. So it's dun, 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 dun. So then we put the two together. Okay? Now actually, if you try to play each of those things separately and practice them separately, good luck with putting them together. When you're fingerstyle playing like this, Travis picking, you have to feel a balance in your hand. There's a balance that comes to be felt in your fingerstyle playing. And if that balance is in tune and in sync, you're going to be able to feel it and just play it without thinking about it. Okay, but it takes a little time to get that balance and get that feel. It's like when you're a little kid and you're on a seesaw, right? And you've got two feet on each side of the fulcrum, and you're finding that balance of where that sweet spot is that you feel very comfortable with your balance. Well, it's the same thing with the fingerstyle. You're feeling that comfortable fingerstyle playing, and what I'm basically trying to say here is it's not playing two separate lines and then merging them together. It's actually coming at it with an approach and a feel that you feel the entire thing as one. Okay? So what we do is we slowly play this, and at first it feels like probably nothing. I can remember playing some early ragtime things and playing them very slowly and having to listen to them on the records back then because what I was playing just did not make any sense. So the key is to play it slowly and to play it rhythmically. In this example, we're playing a 1, a 2, and a 3 and 4 and. So it's 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and then you get it up to speed and you can play this forever without even thinking about it. Okay? So with that little Travis picking, the words escape me at the moment, but you get the idea. Okay, here we go. Lay down, Sally, and rest here in my arms. Don't you know that I'm someone to talk to? Notice what I did there. I did the 5. I came up just 1 fret for the flat 6, but basically none of the fingers change. The left hand is like a block of cement. So what's being done here is you've got the 1, the C, right? And then you come up for the 4, the F, and then the G, which is the 5 chord, and then back to the 1. So on frets, we've got the 3rd fret, we've got the 8th fret, we've got the 10th fret, and we're back to the 3rd fret. None of the fingers are changing, okay? It's all in the technique and in the movability of that chord. So play around with that C7 chord and the movability is really cool. Now you can play a lot of your D7 stuff up here, which adds a little bit of a flavor. If you're playing in G, right, and you go to C, but you don't have to come down here to the D and not be able to use those bass notes, right? Because remember, D wants you to play on that 4 and 5, right? The D and the A for bass. You can't really do that low E string on a D. So now what you can do is come over here and play the D, and now you can play that bass low. So there's another reason to do that movable C7. You can play the D7 with it. So a couple of things to think about there. The keys to the lesson, the C7, the movability, and of course, a little bit of Travis picking at least one technique. I mean, there's millions, right? But anyways, you can have a lot of fun with this. The nice thing about this is you can focus on the picking because nothing's really happening on the left hand. Except, of course, the bass moving like that.